guys.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Todd.
I'm Chele.
Thanks for stopping by. We just want to thank all of our followers for your interactions on Instagram. We've been seeing everybody commenting on our posts. It's been really great, so thank you so much. We have had a lot of people asking us advice on how we should approach someone outside of our race. So we're going to just talk a little bit about that today.
Okay, we wrote down a few pointers that we think will help give you guys some advice on approaching someone outside of your race or someone of a different culture. But just know that every situation is unique and different, and this is just advice that we think will help.
The first one I think should be knowledge or acknowledge the other person first and foremost as a human being. Trying to focus too much on their race, I think that takes away a lot of the connection aspect of things, and you just want to focus on them as a person.
Right. Also know that not everyone has dated outside of their race before. I know for me personally, Black women, they can feel or be a little bit more defensive when someone outside of their race is approaching them, just because it's unfamiliar and uncomfortable, maybe, territory. So just be mindful of that.
And you also want to make sure that the attraction is a healthy attraction. A lot of times, at least in my experience, from women, you see a lot of people with their walls up and get very protective. Especially nowadays, there's been a lot of fetishizing people outside of the race. This is something you really want to try and avoid at all costs.
So recognizing when you're being fetishized can be a little bit tricky sometimes. So we wrote down some examples that might help you get a more clear view of what it might look like. For example, they may emphasize how much they adore your race rather than your individual self. So saying something like, "I just love Black women," is not ideal for what to want to continue a relationship with that person.
Right. Especially for as a white man, you certainly don't want to focus on someone's skin color. Oh, I love your brown skin, or I love your black skin. You want to just say, I love how you look in your skin, or I love how confident you are in your skin, and that you can hopefully see the comparison without calling out the color of someone's skin.
This one may be a little bit more obvious, but it is very important that you also look out for races, no matter what color or race you are. If that person, for example, if the act of violence towards you gratifies them in any way, then that should immediately raise some red flags for you.
And also be careful of underlying racial comments that may not be as obvious on the forefront. Sometimes they can kind of slip in or come out. This is something that sometimes someone doesn't even understand their own feelings towards someone outside of their race. And you really want to make sure that they're being as genuine and respectful as possible.
And to follow up on respect, in order to gain as much respect as you can for someone's race, culture, or just their individual self, you want to educate yourself on their culture and their beliefs. Even if you don't agree with them, you at least need to have some type of knowledge or understanding of them so that you can have respect for them.
And some examples of this is something like different hairstyles, especially of Black women in particular. You want to make sure you don't call like locks, dreadlocks, or braids.
Right.
You want to make sure you know what you're talking about. Start to understand what kind of things are important to them as a cultural perspective. Even someone who is from a different country in particular, they might have different religious beliefs. You really want to start to understand your partner and what they believe in, what they need from you, so that way you're not clashing overall.
So now we move on to your approach. So this is when you are like about to make your move or your first words. And remember, your first impression is everything. You want to do this one?
Yeah, so I think, again, for me personally, it was just very interesting because of the way that I realized that I preferred someone outside of my race. I'd already had a couple of friends that were Black in particular, so it was more comfortable for me. For other people, though, it may not be as comfortable, especially if you're, not a white person approaching a white man. It's important to have patience and realize that this may be their first time interacting with someone outside their race that they are attracted to. So don't always come on too strong. Just be calm and patient about the whole thing, and really just kind of come on softly at first. For men in particular, you just want to treat them as if they're just a regular person. Don't focus too much on, oh my gosh, she's a black person or an Indian person or an Asian person. You just want to focus on them as a person and what you find attractive about them.
And so basically, you want to go into this with having no expectations. Expectations lead to disappointment, and you also want to be patient. If that person is not comfortable or doesn't give you like interest at first, that doesn't mean that they won't later. You tried a few different times for me, and here we are.
Right.
So just have patience and just go into it positive, but with no expectations. Right. Yep. Every experience is either a learning or a teaching moment, so just take it with that.
Yeah, so thanks for stopping by. Hope you liked the video. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Check us out.